have free pizza. Call, and he needed a place to go. We opened up our heart, we opened up our home, and he's become like my son. So, for however long God grants that, but he could have went anywhere. They could have put him into a clinic, you know, a home where if you're trying to, you know, kill yourself, you're going to go into a mental institution. But by God's grace, they let him come with me and my husband Chris around here somewhere. And we're honored to have him in our home. We are so honored to have this young man in our home, and I'm so grateful that he's alive. So
a week ago, well, I'll just start where I am again. You know, drugs and alcohol are just not the way to go. I was really stuck deep into it and almost lost my life a few times. Most recent would have been a week ago from Wednesday, and almost drank myself to death during a school day, just like a regular school day like this, where the ambulance had to pick me up from school, and it was, you know, really just not a good moment at all. And you know, it's just amazing what God has done. I was in, you know, detox for a few days and really didn't really know what to do, didn't know what was about to happen, didn't know, you know, the plan that God had. And you know, thankfully, as she had said, Abigail and her husband were, you know, they had got the phone call about what was going on, and the Lord just said, hey, take him in. And it was the biggest blessing of my entire life. Within 24 hours, just completely transformed by the, you know, the light of Christ came in, and all of those desires were gone. All of those desires were taken away. No desires to do any of those things anymore. But yet I realized that I had almost lost my life several times to drugs and alcohol, and just that was not the way to go. And you know, it's completely transformed. You know, by the grace of God, I've been completely transformed. You know, filled with His love. And He can do amazing things. He can do anything, no matter how, you know, how stuck in darkness you are. He can just take you out of that, and He, you know, it is amazing. It's amazing.
So I want to make one statement. So you guys, I'm sure you're all aware of this. So he's at school, right? Just regular school day.
Yeah.
But he decided to bring a bunch of vodka with him or whatever, and all his friends,
yeah.
Okay, I don't know what kind of friend you are, but I hope you're better than this friend.
Yeah.
Said, hey man, we're gonna egg you on. We want you to drink the whole thing. Come on, we'll block you. So the teacher, picture you're in school, the teacher's there, and all your friends are blocking you, right? And saying, come on, drink all the alcohol. Come on, and that's your friend, okay? So all that alcohol, I don't know about if you guys understand this, but if you drink enough alcohol, you don't make it tomorrow. You get alcohol poisoning. And the statistics are high where people go to parties or school or wherever. It doesn't matter your age, but you drink enough, you don't wake up the next day, okay? So he had enough in his bloodstream for a grown adult where he shouldn't even be alive. The doctors are astounded that he's even alive right now. His alcohol level was above life. And so it's God's grace that he's here. So I wonder what those friends are thinking now. You know, what kind of a friend will you be, okay? Because the real friend's gonna say, hey, maybe that's a little too much. You know, maybe this is taking a little bit too much. Because it's not his first time he almost died. This is like his second time that he almost died. So between this and whatever pressure was going on, you know, at school, and all the stuff that he was he didn't really have anybody that he could talk to say, hey, Brandon, are you all right, you know? So my heart is, I hope you guys are that friend when you see somebody doing this, where you say, hey, you know, don't be the person that blocks them and then eggs them on, come on, drink it all and all that. I mean, there's a time to have fun on the football field, basketball, wrestling, have fun like that. But to do it like that, you know, so it's by God's grace that he's here right now. So this is a miracle. And the fact that right now, I mean, I'm serious, he's been in my home for like 5 days. He's been the greatest joy, mine and my husband's life. I mean, just full of grace. You know, we're gonna get to all those issues, because in God's timing, he'll get to those issues. So if any of you today, I just wanna say and offer to any of you today, if any of you are having those kind of thoughts, because it's high, suicide is high in the high schools, guys. It's not just, you know, it's a lot of peer pressure. We're all here, and we'd be happy to talk with you. You don't have to be ashamed. If you guys need prayer, anything, we're here to offer. And now I know Brandon's got an amazing journey. Brandon is here. He's alive. God has a plan and a purpose. Brandon, you guys, come on, give him a hand.
Give it up for Brandon. Come on.
Basically, just, you know, it's amazing what God can do. I mean, you know, I never envisioned being here in 1,000 years, and just by, you know, by how amazing he is, I'm here and I'm able to speak to you guys today, and that's, you know, that's just amazing to me, and it's just not the way to go. And it was in that car ride that, you know, in that car ride, God just really spoke to me, and I just, you know, I remember saying some prayers, and the light was just, I just completely filled with the light. All those desires were gone, and it was just amazing what God did. And just in 24 hours, completely transformed, all those desires gone, everything, and just now just completely doing, you know, doing what, you know, doing his will, and it's just amazing because it's open for everyone in this room, you know, and just completely saved, completely healed of all those desires, all of those, you know, all the past is gone, and it's just a completely new life, thanks to, you know, thanks to Christ, and just amazing the opportunities that are out there, you know, that God has, and he can just bring anyone out of the darkness as he did for me. I mean, that car ride was so powerful, because that's when God really just spoke to me and was like, hey, that's not the life you need. That's not the life I want for you. That's not the life I desired for you. But this right here is the life that he desired, and so it's going to be fulfilled, and it's open to everyone. It's open to everyone, and I just, you know,
and how
it's
many
amazing.
of you guys love Jesus here? Because that's what I'm talking about.
Hey.
Round of applause for Brandon. I want to share with you guys a little bit about hope. Can you guys raise your hands? Who here has hope, and what do you hope in? What do you guys got hope in? Does anybody have hope? Is anybody hopeful? Is anybody hopeful?
Over there. Over there.
What do you got hope in? What do you have hope in? What gives you hope? Jesus. And pizza. What gives you hope over there? What gives you hope over there? With your hand raised. What gives you hope? Family? Okay. So, the hope of the nation, the desire of the nation is none other than Jesus Christ. The reason why he gives you hope is because he's the answer to every problem. He's the answer to every question. He's the answer to everything you're going through. Why is he the answer? Because he's already gone through the things that you're currently going through, and he knows what it's like to go through some stuff. See, he knows what it's like to be rejected. He knows what it's like to be betrayed. He knows what it's like to be abandoned. He knows what it's like to be punched. He knows what it's like to be mocked. He knows what it's like to be left out. He knows what it's like to be left behind. He knows what it's like to go through some stuff. See, in the scriptures, in Hebrews, it says that he's our high priest, and he sympathizes with us in our weaknesses. Why can he sympathize with us? Because he became weak. Weaker than any human being could ever be, because he was beaten unrecognizable on a tree. And he gave up all his power. See, what Jesus could have done was he could have called 12 legions of angels. A legion is like 6,000. He could have called 72,000 angels to destroy the Roman soldiers that were nailing him to the tree. But guess what he chose? He chose to be powerless. He chose to give up his power. He chose to be weak for you. He chose to be beaten for you because he saw you and he knew you'd go through some stuff. And he knew unless you understood how much he understands you, that you wouldn't have anything in you that would be drawn to him. So he understands you way better than you can understand you. He, in fact, is the manufacturer. How many people in here have an iPhone? And if you dropped that iPhone and it broke, how long would you try to troubleshoot it before you gave it back to the manufacturer, to Apple?
20 times.
And then you'd go to Apple, right? Because that would be wise, because they know how the device works. Well, the manufacturer is God the Creator. And God the Creator had a son. And he gave up his dearest son. He gave up the one that was closest to him to get you back. Because you have hope because of family. But God's family wants another sibling. God's family wants to adopt you right now. And you could be a son and a daughter of the Most High God. So your identity isn't a volleyball player. Your identity isn't being 16 years old and being from Burbank, California. Your identity can be one that belongs to God. One that has everything that God has for them, and one that receives something that they didn't deserve. See, when you don't earn something, then your wages and all that your effort amounted to gives you what you earn. And when you work for sin, guess what happens? The wages of sin is death. When you work for God, he has the best benefits package ever. And I work for Daddy, God, and Son. Though this shirt says Fellowship of Christian Athletes, God adopted me into his family. He's the CEO of my life, and I just go along with him for the ride, and I work with God. Everywhere I go with him, because he's the answer. Because he's the one that can carry the burden. See, in the scriptures it says that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. Has anybody ever seen what goes around like an oxen? They call that a yoke. And if you're carrying a heavy yoke today, if you're burdened down by life, if you don't like yourself, if you don't like the people that are around you, if your parents aren't there for you, and you're burdened down by life, why don't you go to the one that will give you rest for your soul? Why don't you run after the one that'll lift you up, pick you up out of the miry clay, out of the mud, wash you off, and adopt you into his family? See, what God wants to do, he wants to recreate his image in you. But you know what Satan wants to do? He wants to recreate his image in you. And Satan's image is cut off from God. See, the devil has no chance to ever make it right with God. The devil's removed from God's presence forever. So the devil wants to give you bad images and bad thoughts about yourself and about other people. And when you buy into those lies, guess what happens? You become a slave to fear. But why would you want to live with that fear ruling your life when perfect love is here? And Jesus Christ already came to the cross. He already was beaten for 6 hours. He already said yes to you. See, this is what he said on the cross. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. You know what he meant by that? He said, you don't know who you are, and you don't know what you're doing, but I know exactly what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my whole life. And I'm going to risk everything on your behalf to show you that my I do stands. And my I do is greater than what every person out there thinks of you, even what you think about you. See, Satan's a bully, and he wants you to bully yourself. Some people are cutters. Some people, right, they take a bunch of pills and they want to feel better about themselves. You can bully yourself. You can bully others by the devil putting all these lies in your mind, and then you start speaking down about people and start all this gossip on cyberspace and all that junk. But I want you guys to know that the one that came, God in the flesh, the Son of God, he wants to make everything new in your life. He wants to restore you back to what you were created for. And there's nothing that can separate you from the love of God except for your past that's trying to tell you that is who you are. I'm telling you, everything you've ever lived up to this point is not the truth. Jesus said, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. Right now, you can give up all those lies, and you can surrender to the truth, and the God that created you for himself, by himself, through himself, will recreate his image in you, and you can live as a son. You can live as one that belongs. You can live as one that has no fear, because you know that your God is for you and not against you. See, if he who did not spare his own son, but he delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him freely give us all things? If he already gave up his son, if he already gave up what was nearest to him to prove to you what real love is, why would he hold back from you now? Why would he turn his back on you when all he wants to do is hug you? See, if I'm going to give you a big hug, bro, what do I got to do with my hands? I got to extend them, don't I? They got to be wide open. See, Christ on the cross, he's allowing God the Father to reach through him and give you the biggest hug that you've ever had. Heart to heart, bro. Give me a heart to heart, man. Right inside, just a hug. Heart to heart. See, it's heart to heart. Today's about the heart. Brandon went through some stuff, but Brandon's here, isn't he? He's a eternal hug. It's not going to leave. God stays. Even when you go away from him, he's still there. Even when you're faithless, he's faithful. Even when you can't be trusted, he's trustworthy. And he wants to reveal to you how trustworthy he is today. Is anybody in here bold enough to stand up and say, I want to hug the God that created me, the God of love?